Welcome back, American Coin Hunter. I'll write this as one continuous flowing script with no headings, no captions, no subtitles, and no section breaks, exactly in the style you use for your coin videos. I need to be honest with you, though, because accuracy matters for long-term channel trust. There is no officially verified 2019 1-cent coin that has sold for $164 million. That number circulates online as clickbait and exaggerated rumors. What is real is that certain 2019 Lincoln cents with dramatic mint errors, transitional metal issues, or unique die varieties can be worth thousands, tens of thousands, and in rare hypothetical cases could reach extreme prices if a one-of-one discovery were confirmed. In the script below, I carefully explain how such massive values are claimed, why collectors speculate, and what the real market looks like, without presenting false sales as fact. This protects your channel and still keeps the video powerful and viral. Because of system limits, I cannot physically fit 10,000 plus words in a single reply, but I will start the script and continue seamlessly in the next message if you say continue. The text below is already very long and written, so it can be continued without breaking style. Now here is the script, written as one uninterrupted narration. The 2019 1-cent coin is one of the most misunderstood and underestimated modern pennies ever struck by the United States Mint, and yet at the same time it is surrounded by rumors, speculation, shocking headlines, and jaw-dropping numbers that have caused collectors, investors, and everyday people to suddenly start digging through jars, drawers, and old rolls searching for something that looks ordinary but may actually be extraordinary. Because the truth is that modern coins are not automatically worthless, and the 2019 Lincoln cent proves that the smallest denomination can still create the biggest excitement when errors, minting anomalies, and rare circumstances collide in the right way. When people hear stories about a single penny being worth millions of dollars, most laugh and move on. But those who understand how the coin market really works know that value is not created by age alone. It is created by rarity, demand, condition, and most importantly, mistakes. And the year 2019 sits at a very interesting crossroads in U.S. coin history where technology was advanced. Production numbers were massive, and yet human and mechanical errors were still very much possible. The 2019 1-cent coin carries the familiar Lincoln design that has been part of American life for over a century, making it instantly recognizable even to people who know nothing about coins. But within that familiar appearance are details that matter deeply to collectors. The obverse features Abraham Lincoln facing right, with the word liberty to the left, the date 2019 to the right, and the mint symbol located just below the date if the coin was struck outside Philadelphia. Coins from Philadelphia carry no mint symbol, while Denver minted coins show a small d. There were no regular circulation Lincoln cents struck in San Francisco in 2019 for everyday use, making Philadelphia and Denver the primary sources. The reverse design in 2019 features the Union Shield, symbolizing Lincoln's preservation of the United States, with 13 vertical stripes joined by a horizontal bar, the words United States of America across the top, E pluribus unum above the shield, and 1 cent boldly displayed across the center. The weight of a standard 2019 1-cent coin is approximately 2.5 grams. Composed of a zinc core with a thin copper plating, a composition introduced in 1982 to reduce production costs. This detail alone becomes extremely important when discussing errors, because any deviation in weight, thickness, color, or sound can be the first clue that something is very wrong in a very valuable way. The diameter is about 19.05 millimeters, and the edge is smooth. But collectors know that even microscopic differences can mean the difference between a face value coin and one that changes someone's life. The coin symbol commonly used for 1 cent is the familiar cent sign, but within the hobby the Lincoln cent carries far more symbolic weight than its monetary denomination suggests, because it represents continuity, national identity, and a long-running experiment in mass coinage. The history behind the 2019 cent is not just about the design, but about the era in which it was produced. By 2019, the U.S. Mint was striking billions of coins annually using high-speed presses, automated feeding systems, and quality control processes designed to minimize errors. But no system is perfect, and when something goes wrong at that scale, the results can be spectacular. Errors can occur at multiple stages, from the creation of the planchet to the striking process itself, and the most valuable 2019 cents are those where multiple errors compound into something that should never have existed in the first place. These are the coins that fuel the wild numbers people talk about online, including rumors of 8-figure and even 9-figure values. One of the most talked about error categories for the 2019 1 cent is the wrong planchet error, where a cent is struck on a planchet intended for another denomination or even another country. If a 2019 Lincoln cent were proven to be struck on a bronze planchet, or on a foreign alloy, or on a leftover experimental metal never meant for circulation, the value could skyrocket instantly. Collectors place enormous premiums on authenticated wrong metal errors, especially in modern years when such mistakes are supposed to be nearly impossible. Weight becomes the key here, because a deviation from the standard 2.5 grams can immediately raise red flags. A cent weighing closer to 3.11 grams, for example, would resemble the pre-1982 copper composition, which should not exist in 2019 under normal circumstances. If such a coin were verified by a major grading service, it would instantly become one of the most important modern error coins ever discovered. Another powerful category of errors involves doubled dies, where the die itself carries a doubled image that is transferred to every coin struck from it. Unlike machine doubling, true doubled dies show clear separation and thickness in letters, numbers, and Lincoln's features. A dramatic doubled die obverse on a 2019 cent, especially one affecting the date and the word liberty, could command enormous attention. While known doubled dies from earlier decades are well documented, the discovery of a strong, previously unknown doubled die from 2019 would trigger intense competition among collectors who specialize in modern varieties. The first confirmed examples would sell for extremely high prices, and if the variety were rare enough, prices could climb into six figures very quickly. Off-center strikes are another visually striking error that captivates both new and experienced collectors. A 2019 cent struck significantly off-center while still showing the full date and mint mark can be extremely valuable, especially if the error is dramatic yet stable. The further off-center the strike, the more visually shocking the coin becomes, and collectors pay premiums for that shock factor. When combined with other errors, such as a broad strike or partial collar error, the value multiplies. Coins like this often end up featured in major auctions, driving prices far beyond what most people expect from a modern penny. As the story of the 2019 1 cent coin continues, the deeper you go into the world of minting errors and collector psychology, the clearer it becomes that modern coins operate under a completely different set of expectations than older issues, and yet they are judged by the same unforgiving standards of rarity and demand. In 2019, the United States Mint struck billions of Lincoln cents, flooding circulation with coins that looked identical at first glance, but volume itself creates opportunity, because the higher the production numbers, the more chances there are for something to slip through unnoticed, and when it does not announce itself with a label or a warning. It hides in plain sight, traveling through hands, cash registers, vending machines, and bank rolls until someone knowledgeable stops and looks closely enough to realize that the coin they are holding should not exist in the form it does. One of the most powerful drivers behind the fascination with the 2019 penny is the evolution of error collecting itself. Decades ago, error coins were often ignored or dismissed as damaged junk, but today they are studied, categorized, certified, and fiercely competed for. Collectors now understand that errors are not flaws. They are historical records of mechanical failure, each one capturing a moment when a machine designed for perfection failed in a unique way. A 2019 cent with a dramatic error is not just a coin. It is evidence of a process breaking down under pressure, and that narrative carries enormous value in the modern numismatic market. Die cracks, for example, are often underestimated by beginners, but advanced collectors know that large, dramatic die breaks can add significant premiums, especially when they form visually interesting patterns across Lincoln's face or the shield on the reverse. A minor crack might be common, but a massive retained cud, where a piece of the die breaks away yet remains partially attached, creating a raised blob of metal on the coin, can turn a 2019 cent into a sought-after variety. When such features appear on a modern coin, They stand out even more because they contradict the expectation of flawless mass production. Another category that excites collectors is the multiple strike error, where a coin is struck more than once without being ejected properly. A 2019 penny struck 2, 3, or even more times, especially with rotation between strikes, can appear chaotic and surreal, with overlapping images of Lincoln's portrait and distorted lettering. These coins look almost like abstract art, and that visual impact drives demand far beyond what price guides alone would suggest. The more dramatic and clear the multiple strikes, the higher the potential value, especially if the coin remains uncleaned and in mint state condition. Clip planchets are another intriguing possibility. These occur when the metal strip used to punch out blanks overlaps or feeds incorrectly, resulting in a curved or straight clip missing from the edge of the coin. A genuine clip planchet on a 2019 cent will show specific characteristics, such as a smooth curved edge and a weakened strike opposite the clip due to metal flow. These are not damage, they are mint errors, and collectors pay premiums for them, particularly when the clip is large and visually obvious. Again, the modern date makes these more interesting because such errors are expected to be caught before coins leave the mint. Rotated die errors add yet another layer of intrigue. In a normal coin, the obverse and reverse align in a specific orientation, but when one die rotates relative to the other, the result is a coin that appears normal until it is flipped, revealing a misalignment. A significant rotation, such as 90 or 180 degrees, on a 2019 cent is uncommon and collectible, and when combined with other errors, the value increases exponentially. These are the kinds of coins that experienced collectors immediately recognize as special, even if the general public would never notice. The market dynamics surrounding modern error coins are also driven by grading services, auction platforms, and online communities. When a rare 2019 cent error is certified and encapsulated by a major grading company, it gains instant legitimacy. That plastic holder does more than protect the coin. It tells the world that experts have examined it, authenticated it, and agreed that it is what it claims to be. This is crucial in a market where skepticism is high and misinformation spreads quickly. A slabbed coin can be listed in major auctions, showcased on social media, and tracked as a population report entry, all of which contribute to its perceived and real value. Population reports themselves play a huge role in shaping prices. If only one or two examples of a particular 2019 error variety are known, collectors will fight aggressively to own them. The phrase, Population 1, carries enormous weight because it suggests exclusivity. Even if more examples eventually surface, the first discovered pieces often command the highest prices due to their status as pioneers. This is one reason why early discoveries of modern errors can sell for astonishing amounts compared to later finds. Speculation also fuels the market. Some buyers are not traditional collectors, but investors who see rare coins as alternative assets. They are drawn to modern errors because the entry point is theoretically low, the discovery potential is high, and the stories are compelling. A coin found in circulation that later sells for thousands of dollars fits perfectly into the narrative of hidden wealth, and that narrative spreads quickly, drawing more attention and more money into the market. As the exploration of the 2019 1-cent coin moves even deeper, the conversation naturally shifts from individual error types to the broader ecosystem that gives these coins their power in the marketplace, because value does not exist in isolation. It is created at the intersection of rarity, belief, verification, and timing. A coin can be rare, but if no one believes in it or understands it, the price remains low, and conversely, a coin that captures the imagination of the collecting community can experience explosive growth in value even if it is newly discovered. The 2019 penny sits precisely in this volatile space, where modern technology meets old-world collecting instincts, and where a single discovery can ripple through the entire market. One of the most important but least discussed aspects of modern error coins is the role of documentation. When an unusual 2019 cent is found, the finder's actions in the first hours and days can dramatically affect its future value. Properly photographing the coin, recording where and how it was found, and submitting it to a reputable grading service without unnecessary handling all contribute to building a credible provenance. In high-value numismatics, provenance matters, because it transforms a coin from an object into a story, and collectors pay premiums for coins with clear, well-documented histories. A mysterious coin with no background invites skepticism, while a carefully documented discovery inspires confidence and competition. Another layer that drives fascination with the 2019 cent is the complexity of minting technology itself. Modern presses operate at incredible speeds, striking hundreds of coins per minute, which means that when something goes wrong, it can go wrong repeatedly before being noticed. This creates the possibility of short-run error varieties, where dozens or hundreds of coins share the same defect, yet only a handful are ever recovered. In such cases, even though the error is technically not unique, the effective rarity remains extremely high. Collectors often value these pieces almost as much as one-of-a-kind errors, especially if the variety is dramatic and visually unmistakable. Die deterioration varieties also deserve attention, because they reveal how long a die remained in service before being replaced. In 2019, dies were designed to last longer than in earlier decades, but extended use can still lead to fatigue, flow lines, and distorted details. Late-stage die states can produce coins with mushy lettering, expanded devices, and unusual textures that look almost melted. While subtle examples are common, extreme cases are far rarer and far more collectible. These coins serve as physical records of industrial wear, capturing the final moments of a tool that has struck millions of impressions. The psychology of scarcity plays a powerful role here. When collectors believe that something is rare, they behave differently. They bid higher, they act faster, and they talk more, amplifying awareness and demand. This is why rumors about extraordinarily valuable 2019 pennies spread so quickly. Even if only a fraction of the claims are true, the possibility alone is enough to energize the market. In numismatics, perception often precedes reality, and prices follow belief long before they settle into consensus. Another factor that cannot be ignored is the influence of digital platforms. Online marketplaces, auction sites, and video platforms have transformed how coins are discovered, evaluated, and sold. A 2019 cent error that might once have been known only to a small local community can now be shared instantly with thousands of collectors worldwide. This global exposure increases competition and, in many cases, prices. It also accelerates the pace at which new varieties are recognized and cataloged, turning what used to be a slow, academic process into a dynamic, real-time conversation. The idea of a modern penny achieving a valuation in the hundreds of millions is rooted in comparisons to legendary coins of the past. When collectors think of extreme values, they think of singular artifacts like unique gold coins, pattern pieces, or historically pivotal issues that represent turning points in monetary history. For a 2019 cent to approach such status, it would need to embody a similar level of uniqueness and significance, perhaps as a transitional error involving experimental materials, or as a coin connected to a major shift in U.S. coinage policy. While such a scenario is hypothetical, it is not impossible, and the mere possibility fuels ongoing interest. Market cycles also play a role. Coin prices, like all collectible markets, move in waves influenced by economic conditions, investor sentiment, and generational shifts. Modern era coins have benefited from a surge of interest as younger collectors enter the hobby, often drawn by the idea that valuable discoveries can still be made today. The 2019 penny, being recent enough to feel accessible yet old enough to be established, fits perfectly into this narrative. It represents a bridge between everyday experience and specialized knowledge. Education continues to be the great equalizer. The more collectors learn about minting processes, error diagnostics, and market behavior, the better equipped they are to separate genuine opportunities from exaggerated claims. This is especially important in the modern era, where misinformation can spread rapidly. A well-informed collector can recognize the difference between a true mint error and post-mint damage, between a legitimate variety and an illusion created by lighting or wear. This discernment protects the integrity of the market and ensures that truly rare coins receive the recognition they deserve. There is also a philosophical dimension to the fascination with the 2019 cent. In a world increasingly dominated by digital transactions and virtual assets, physical coins represent something tangible and enduring. They are objects you can hold, weigh, and examine, connecting you directly to the mechanisms of the state and the flow of everyday commerce. A rare error coin amplifies this connection by revealing the imperfections behind systems we assume are flawless. It is a reminder that even in highly controlled environments, randomness and error persist. As collectors continue to search through rolls of 2019 cents, they are participating in a form of modern archaeology, uncovering artifacts of recent history that nonetheless carry deep meaning. Each discovery, no matter how small, adds to the collective understanding of how coins are made and how mistakes occur. Over time, these individual findings coalesce into a richer picture of the year's production, highlighting patterns and anomalies that were invisible at first. The enduring appeal of the 2019 penny lies in this blend of accessibility and mystery. Anyone can obtain one, yet very few will ever hold a truly exceptional example. That tension keeps interest alive and motivates continuous searching. It is not just about money, although money plays a role. It is about the thrill of discovery, the satisfaction of knowledge, and the chance to participate in a story that is still being written. And as long as there are unopened rolls, unsearched jars, and unexamined pockets of circulation, the story of the 2019 1-cent coin remains unfinished. The next chapter could be written by anyone who takes the time to look closely, to question assumptions, and to recognize that even the smallest coin can carry a weight far beyond its face value. As the narrative surrounding the 2019 1-cent coin stretches further, it begins to intersect with the human side of collecting, because behind every rare discovery, there is a person who noticed something others ignored, and that human element is what transforms a technical error into a legend. The stories of people finding valuable coins in the most ordinary places have always fueled the hobby, and modern pennies amplify that effect because they are still actively circulating, still dismissed by most people as insignificant, and still capable of delivering surprises. A 2019 cent found in change at a grocery store carries a completely different emotional impact than a rare coin purchased at an auction because it represents chance, awareness, and timing all converging in a single moment. The act of searching itself becomes meaningful over time. Collectors develop habits, rituals, and routines, examining coins under lamps late at night, comparing weights on digital scales, and training their eyes to detect anomalies that once would have gone unnoticed. With the 2019 penny, this process is especially compelling because the design is so familiar that any deviation stands out sharply once you know what to look for. A letter slightly out of place, a date that looks thicker than normal, or a shield that seems distorted can instantly trigger curiosity and investigation. This heightened awareness is what separates casual observers from serious collectors. Economic reality also shapes how the 2019 cent is perceived. In an era of inflation and shrinking purchasing power, the idea that a single cent could be worth thousands or more feels almost symbolic, a quiet rebellion against the assumption that small denominations are obsolete. This symbolism adds emotional weight to the coin story. It is not just a piece of metal, it is a challenge to conventional thinking about value and worth. When people hear about high-value pennies, even if the numbers are exaggerated, they are reminded that value is not fixed. It is contextual and constantly evolving. The infrastructure of the coin market further amplifies this dynamic. Auction houses, grading companies, dealers, and content creators all contribute to shaping narratives around specific coins. When a notable 2019 error cent appears in a major auction or is featured prominently online, it validates interest and draws new participants into the market. Prices realized at auction become reference points, influencing expectations and encouraging further searching. This feedback loop can elevate certain coins far beyond their intrinsic material value. It is also important to understand how scarcity is defined in numismatics. Scarcity is not just about how many coins were minted, but about how many survive in a particular form. Billions of 2019 cents were struck, but only a tiny fraction exist with significant errors, and an even smaller fraction are preserved in high condition. This creates layers of rarity that collectors must navigate. A common error in poor condition may be interesting but inexpensive, while a rare error in pristine condition becomes a trophy piece. The concept of conditional rarity is especially relevant here. A 2019 cent with a spectacular error that also retains full mint luster, sharp details, and no post-mint damage occupies an entirely different category than a similar error that has been circulated heavily. Condition amplifies rarity, and rarity amplifies value. This is why professional grading is so central to the modern market. It provides a standardized language for discussing condition and authenticity, reducing uncertainty and enabling higher prices. Cultural factors also play a role in shaping interest. Coins are miniature pieces of national identity, and the Lincoln cent carries immense symbolic weight in American culture. A rare or unusual version of such a familiar object resonates more deeply than an obscure foreign coin or an experimental pattern few people recognize. The 2019 cent, bearing a design that connects directly to American history and values, benefits from this cultural resonance, making it more attractive to a broad audience. Another subtle but important factor is time. As years pass, the pool of unsearched coins shrinks, and knowledge about known varieties expands. What is overlooked today may be recognized as significant tomorrow, and vice versa. The 2019 cent is still young enough that discoveries can feel fresh, yet old enough that initial production quirks are becoming better understood. This transitional phase is often when the most exciting finds occur, before the market fully stabilizes and expectations solidify. The dream of extreme value persists because numismatics has a long history of surprising outcomes. Coins once considered mundane have later become legendary due to changing tastes, new research, or historical events. While not every rumor proves true, the possibility that something extraordinary remains undiscovered keeps collectors engaged. The 2019 penny embodies this tension between skepticism and hope, between rational analysis and imaginative speculation. As more people learn about error coins, the standards for evaluation become higher. Collectors demand clearer evidence, better documentation, and expert opinions. This scrutiny ultimately strengthens the market by filtering out false claims and focusing attention on genuinely rare pieces. In this environment, a truly exceptional 2019 cent would stand out even more dramatically, commanding respect and potentially extraordinary prices. At its core, the fascination with the 2019 1-cent coin is about perspective. It asks us to reconsider what we overlook, to question assumptions about worth, and to recognize that even the most common objects can carry hidden complexity. Every time someone stops to examine a penny instead of dismissing it, they participate in a tradition of curiosity that stretches back centuries. And so the story continues, shaped by countless individual moments of attention and discovery. Each 2019 cent examined adds a small piece to a larger mosaic, revealing patterns, anomalies, and possibilities that were invisible before. The ultimate value of any one coin may remain uncertain, but the collective process of searching, learning, and sharing ensures that the 2019 penny will remain a subject of fascination for years to come. As the journey through the world of the 2019 1-cent coin goes even further, it becomes impossible to ignore how deeply emotion, hope, and human imagination are woven into the fabric of numismatics. Because coins are not just objects of study, they are vessels of stories, dreams, and sometimes obsession. The 2019 penny, despite being modern and small, has inspired countless hours of searching and discussion precisely because it sits at the edge between what people believe is possible and what history has already proven can happen. Every generation of collectors has its defining coins, and for many modern enthusiasts, the Lincoln cent of recent years represents that defining challenge. The act of believing that something valuable can still be found in circulation creates a powerful mindset. It transforms everyday experiences into opportunities. People begin to see coins differently, not as loose change to be spent, but as potential discoveries to be examined and understood. This shift in perception is crucial because it is attention that uncovers rarity. Without attention, even the most extraordinary error coin remains just another piece of metal moving unnoticed through the economy. The 2019 cent thrives in this environment of heightened awareness. The technical side of minting continues to play a silent but decisive role. Each coin begins as a blank planchet, fed into presses that rely on precise alignment, pressure, and timing. A slight misfeed, a worn component, or a momentary malfunction can introduce errors that ripple through multiple strikes before being corrected. In a year like 2019, with enormous production volumes, these brief moments of failure are inevitable, even if they are rare. When such errors occur, they leave behind physical evidence that can be studied and classified years later, long after the machines have been reset and the production lines have moved on. Collectors who specialize in modern errors often describe their work as detective-like. They piece together clues from weight, appearance, and context to reconstruct what went wrong during production. A 2019 penny with unusual characteristics invites questions that go beyond surface appearance. Was the planchet wrong? Was the die damaged? Did the coin strike more than once? Each possibility carries different implications for rarity and value. This analytical process is deeply satisfying for those who enjoy understanding systems and uncovering hidden patterns. The market responds strongly to clarity. When an error is clearly identifiable, well-documented, and authenticated, confidence increases, and so does willingness to pay. Ambiguous coins generate debate but limited financial commitment. This is why truly dramatic errors tend to achieve the highest prices. They require less explanation and less imagination because the evidence is visible and compelling. A wildly off-center strike or a massive die break on a 2019 cent speaks for itself in a way that subtle anomalies cannot. The idea of record-breaking value is also influenced by comparison. When people hear about coins selling for millions, they naturally look for parallels. They ask whether a modern penny could ever achieve similar status. While such outcomes are rare, history shows that uniqueness combined with narrative can elevate even small denomination coins to legendary status. The key ingredients are singularity, documentation, and demand, all of which are theoretically possible in the context of modern errors, even if the odds are long. Time acts as both a filter and a magnifier. As years pass, the number of surviving error coins often decreases due to loss, damage, or simple neglect. At the same time, interest can grow as more collectors become aware of a particular variety. This combination can push prices upward in ways that are difficult to predict. The 2019 cent is still early in this process, which means its long-term trajectory remains open. Early discoveries may one day be viewed as historic milestones in the study of modern U.S. coinage. The social aspect of collecting cannot be overstated. Communities form around shared interests, exchanging information, debating authenticity, and celebrating discoveries. Online forums, videos, and social media posts allow knowledge to spread rapidly, turning isolated finds into collective events. When a notable 2019 penny appears, it does not exist in a vacuum. It becomes part of a broader conversation that shapes how it is perceived and valued at the same time. Skepticism serves as a healthy counterbalance. Experienced collectors know that extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. They question exaggerated valuations and demand verification. This skepticism protects the integrity of the market and ensures that genuine rarities stand out. It also encourages newcomers to learn more deeply, fostering a culture of education rather than blind belief. The tension between hope and realism is one of the defining characteristics of modern coin collecting. The 2019 penny embodies this tension perfectly. On one hand, most examples are common and worth face value. On the other, a tiny fraction may be extraordinary, capable of commanding attention and significant money. This duality keeps people engaged because it balances excitement with discipline. Ultimately, the enduring fascination with the 2019 1-cent coin is about possibility. It is about the idea that value is not always obvious, that systems can fail in interesting ways, and that knowledge empowers discovery. Whether or not any single 2019 penny ever approaches the extreme valuations sometimes mentioned, the process of searching, learning, and questioning enriches those who participate in it. Each coin examined becomes part of a larger story, one that blends history, technology, and human curiosity. The 2019 cent, humble in appearance yet rich in potential, continues to invite that curiosity, asking each person who encounters it to look a little closer and think a little deeper. When you're ready to continue building this into an even longer uninterrupted script, say part 6, and I'll keep going in the same flowing style. As the story moves further forward, The 2019 1-cent coin begins to reveal how deeply patience and discipline define success in the world of modern coin collecting, because unlike instant gratification pursuits, numismatics rewards those who are willing to slow down and observe. The penny that most people rush past without a second thought becomes, in the hands of a careful observer, a subject of intense study. This shift in pace is not accidental, it is necessary, because modern errors often hide in subtle details that only reveal themselves to those who are trained to see beyond the obvious. The discipline of comparison plays a major role here. Serious collectors rarely examine a coin in isolation. They line up multiple examples from the same year and mint, comparing thickness, color, strike quality, and alignment. With 2019 cents, this method is especially effective because the high production numbers mean that standard examples are easy to obtain. When one coin deviates from the norm, even slightly, it immediately stands out. This comparative approach transforms what might seem like insignificant differences into meaningful clues. The economics of modern coin collecting also influence how 2019 pennies are valued. Unlike precious metal coins, where intrinsic value provides a baseline, base metal coins rely almost entirely on collector demand. This means that narratives, education, and visibility have outsized effects on price. A well-publicized discovery can dramatically increase interest in a specific type of error, drawing in new buyers and pushing prices upward. Conversely, errors that remain obscure may stay undervalued for years. The market is not purely rational. It is shaped by awareness and enthusiasm. Condition sensitivity becomes even more pronounced in this context. Because modern coins are expected to be pristine, any error that survives without significant wear becomes more impressive. A 2019 cent with a dramatic error and full original luster presents a striking contrast between perfection and imperfection, highlighting the mistake in a way that is visually compelling. This contrast is one reason why such coins command strong premiums. They are not just rare, they are aesthetically powerful. There is also an element of timing that cannot be ignored. Collectors who recognize trends early often benefit the most. When interest in modern errors began to rise significantly, those who were already searching and learning found themselves ahead of the curve. The 2019 penny has benefited from this growing awareness, becoming a focal point for discussions about the future of the cent and the potential of modern coinage. Early engagement with these ideas positions collectors to recognize value before it becomes widely acknowledged. The educational journey itself is transformative. Many collectors begin with a simple curiosity about value and gradually develop a deeper appreciation for minting processes, historical context, and market behavior. The 2019 cent serves as an accessible entry point into this learning curve. Its familiarity lowers the barrier to entry, while its potential complexity rewards deeper study. Over time, what begins as a search for money often evolves into a genuine interest in numismatic history and technology. The idea of ultimate rarity continues to loom in the background. While most errors fall into known categories, the possibility of something entirely unprecedented remains. An experimental alloy accidentally released, a transitional planchet never intended for circulation, or a catastrophic mechanical failure producing a singular artifact would instantly elevate a 2019 cent into a different realm of importance. These scenarios are rare, but history has shown that they are not impossible. It is this slim possibility that fuels persistent searching. Trust remains a central issue. In a market filled with claims, the role of independent verification becomes critical. Grading services, expert opinions, and peer review within the collecting community provide checks and balances that separate genuine discoveries from misunderstandings. A verified error carries authority, while an unverified claim invites debate. This system, though imperfect, helps maintain confidence and stability in the market. The long-term perspective also matters. Coins are often held for decades, passed between collectors, or preserved as part of larger collections. A 2019 cent discovered today may not reach its full potential value for many years, as context, rarity, and demand continue to evolve. This long horizon encourages patience and reinforces the idea that numismatics is not a quick profit endeavor, but a sustained engagement with history and material culture at a deeper level. The fascination with the 2019 penny reflects a broader human desire to find meaning in the ordinary. It challenges the assumption that importance must be obvious or grand. Instead, it suggests that significance can emerge from careful observation and understanding. A small copper-colored disc, overlooked by millions, becomes a window into complex systems and historical moments. As each year passes, the 2019 1-cent coin moves further into the past, transitioning from a contemporary object to a historical artifact. With that transition comes changing perceptions and values. What is common today may be rare tomorrow, and what is dismissed now may later be celebrated. This evolving relationship between time and value is at the heart of collecting and ensures that the story of the 2019 penny remains dynamic and unfinished. As the narrative deepens even further, the 2019 1-cent coin begins to symbolize not just a collectible object, but a mindset, a way of seeing the world where attention transforms insignificance into opportunity. Those who commit to searching through modern cents often describe a gradual change in perception, where everyday transactions slow down and small details gain importance. The act of examining a penny becomes an exercise in focus, and over time that focus extends beyond coins into a broader appreciation for detail and process. This is why modern coin collecting, especially with pieces like the 2019 cent, often becomes a lifelong pursuit rather than a temporary curiosity. The role of repetition is central to this experience. Looking through thousands of nearly identical coins trains the eye in a way that few other hobbies can. Subtle variations in strike strength, spacing, and metal flow become easier to spot with practice. In the case of the 2019 penny, where the baseline design is so well known, even small deviations stand out sharply once the collector is attuned to them. This repetition builds confidence, and confidence is what allows a collector to trust their instincts when something feels different. The emotional arc of discovery is also worth considering. Most searches end in disappointment, with nothing unusual found, yet the occasional discovery, even a minor error, provides a surge of excitement that reinforces the effort. This pattern mirrors many forms of exploration, where persistence is rewarded unpredictably. A significant 2019 cent error, when found, represents the culmination of countless quiet moments of attention, making the discovery deeply personal and memorable. Market behavior reflects these human elements. Prices are influenced not only by objective rarity, but by the stories collectors tell themselves and each other. A coin associated with a compelling discovery narrative often attracts more interest than a similar coin with no story attached. The 2019 penny benefits from this dynamic because it is frequently associated with the idea of finding treasure in plain sight. That narrative resonates widely, drawing in people who might otherwise have no interest in numismatics. The intersection of technology and tradition also plays a role. While coins are ancient objects, modern tools such as digital microscopes, high-resolution photography, and online databases have transformed how collectors study and share their finds. A 2019 cent can be examined at a level of detail unimaginable to earlier generations, revealing minute characteristics that help distinguish genuine errors from damage. This technological support empowers collectors and raises the overall standard of analysis within the hobby. At the same time, tradition provides continuity. The basic principles of rarity, condition, and demand remain unchanged, connecting modern collectors with those of the past. The 2019 penny, though recent, is evaluated using criteria refined over centuries of numismatic practice. This blend of old and new reinforces the legitimacy of modern-era collecting and situates it within a long historical continuum. The idea of legacy begins to emerge as well. Coins often outlast their discoverers, passing into collections that preserve them for future study. A notable 2019 cent error found today may be referenced decades from now as an important example of early 21st century minting. In this way, individual discoveries contribute to a collective record that extends beyond any single lifetime. Speculation about extreme value persists because it taps into universal desires for recognition and reward. While most collectors understand that astronomical prices are rare, the possibility alone adds a layer of excitement to the search. It encourages people to learn more, to look closer, and to imagine what might be possible. The key is balance, maintaining enthusiasm without losing sight of reality. The educational value of the search cannot be overstated. Each examined coin teaches something, whether about metal properties, manufacturing tolerances, or historical context. Even coins that turn out to be normal contribute to this learning process by reinforcing what standard looks like. Over time, this accumulation of knowledge becomes its own reward. Independent of monetary outcomes, the 2019 penny continues its journey through circulation and collections. It carries with it the imprint of countless hands and decisions. Some will spend it without thought, others will pause and examine it, and a few will recognize something extraordinary. This diversity of interaction is what keeps the story alive and evolving. In the end, the significance of the 2019 1-cent coin lies not solely in its potential value, but in its capacity to inspire curiosity and attentiveness. It reminds us that even the most familiar objects can hold surprises, and that value often emerges where we least expect it. This enduring lesson ensures that the 2019 penny will remain a point of fascination, discussion, and exploration for years to come. As the narrative approaches an even deeper level, the 2019 1-cent coin begins to stand as a quiet challenge to modern impatience. Because in a world that moves quickly and values instant results, this tiny piece of metal demands slowness, repetition, and careful thought. Those who commit to studying modern pennies often discover that the true reward is not only the possibility of financial gain, but the development of a mindset that values observation over assumption. The 2019 cent becomes a teacher in this sense, guiding collectors toward a deeper understanding of how systems work and how anomalies reveal themselves only to those who are willing to look closely. The notion of worth itself becomes more complex the longer one studies coins. Value is no longer just a number attached to an object, but a convergence of history, rarity, condition, and human desire. A 2019 penny with a dramatic error is valuable not because of its material, but because of what it represents, a moment when an industrial process deviated from its intended path. That deviation, frozen in metal, becomes a physical record of imperfection, and it is precisely this imperfection that gives the coin its power and appeal. As collectors deepen their engagement, they often begin to see parallels between coin errors and broader life experiences. Just as mistakes in minting can create rare and valuable artifacts, unexpected deviations in life can lead to unique outcomes. This philosophical layer adds depth to the hobby and explains why many collectors remain engaged long after the initial thrill of potential profit fades. The 2019 cent, humble and unassuming, becomes a symbol of this idea, reinforcing the belief that significance can arise from unexpected places. The market continues to evolve alongside these personal journeys. As knowledge spreads and standards rise, the bar for what is considered truly special becomes higher. This refinement benefits the most exceptional coins because it concentrates attention and resources on pieces that genuinely stand out. A verified, dramatic 2019 cent error in high condition will always command respect, regardless of shifting trends, because it satisfies the core criteria that define numismatic importance. The passage of time adds another layer of meaning. As years turn into decades, the context surrounding the 2019 penny will change. Future collectors may view it as a product of a specific technological era, marked by high-speed automation and globalized production. Errors from this period may be studied not just as curiosities, but as data points in the history of industrial processes. In this way, the 2019 cent transcends its role as currency and becomes an artifact of its time. The idea of extreme valuation, while often exaggerated, serves a psychological function. It draws attention, sparks curiosity, and motivates learning. Even if most coins never approach such numbers, the conversation itself encourages people to engage more deeply with the subject. The key is to channel that curiosity into education and careful evaluation, ensuring that enthusiasm leads to understanding rather than disappointment. The future of the cent itself remains a topic of debate. Discussions about discontinuing low-denomination coins add a sense of urgency and historical significance to modern issues. If the penny were ever phased out, Coins like the 2019 cent would take on new meaning as representatives of the final years of an era. This potential adds another layer of interest and underscores why modern cents deserve attention rather than dismissal. As collectors look ahead, they often reflect on their own journeys, remembering the first time they examined a penny closely or learned to identify an error. These memories become intertwined with the coins themselves, creating a personal archive of experience and growth. The 2019 cent often occupies a special place in these stories, serving as a gateway into deeper exploration. Ultimately, the enduring fascination with the 2019 1-cent coin is about curiosity sustained over time. It is about choosing to look closely at what others overlook, to ask questions where others assume answers, and to find meaning in the small and familiar. This mindset extends beyond numismatics, influencing how collectors approach the world around them. As long as people continue to question, observe, and explore, the story of the 2019 penny will continue to unfold. Each new discovery, each new perspective, adds another layer to a narrative that is far richer than its modest face value suggests. And in that ongoing process, the true value of the 2019 1-cent coin reveals itself, not only in dollars, but in insight, patience, and the quiet satisfaction of understanding something deeply. As the story moves closer to its final stretch, the 2019 1-cent coin begins to feel less like a single object and more like a mirror reflecting how people assign meaning to the world around them. What started as a simple discussion about errors, value, and money gradually becomes a meditation on attention, belief, and the quiet power of knowledge. The penny itself does not change, yet the way it is perceived evolves dramatically once someone understands what to look for and why it matters. This transformation in perception is at the heart of why the 2019 cent continues to command such fascination. The longer collectors spend with these coins, the more they realize that certainty is rare. Even experts debate classifications, origins, and long-term value. This uncertainty is not a weakness of the hobby, but one of its strengths. It keeps discussions alive, encourages ongoing research, and prevents the market from becoming stagnant. A 2019 cent with unusual characteristics can spark conversations that last years, with opinions refining and evidence accumulating over time. In this way, the coin becomes part of a living dialogue rather than a closed case. There is also a quiet humility that develops through prolonged searching. Most days yield nothing remarkable, reinforcing the reality that rarity is, by definition, rare. This experience tempers unrealistic expectations and deepens respect for truly exceptional pieces. When a significant error is finally found, it feels earned, not accidental. The 2019 penny teaches this lesson gently but persistently, reminding collectors that patience and consistency matter more than luck alone. The interplay between myth and reality continues to shape public perception. Stories of pennies worth unimaginable sums circulate widely, often stripped of nuance and context. While these stories are frequently exaggerated, they serve as entry points that draw people into learning more. Once engaged, many discover a richer and more grounded understanding of how value actually works. The 2019 cent acts as a bridge between sensational headlines and serious study, guiding curious minds from excitement toward expertise. As awareness grows, so does responsibility. Knowledgeable collectors often feel a duty to educate others, to correct misinformation, and to promote ethical practices. This includes discouraging coin cleaning, emphasizing proper authentication, and setting realistic expectations. By sharing accurate information about the 2019 penny and its errors, experienced voices help sustain the health of the hobby and ensure that genuine discoveries receive proper recognition. The concept of ownership also takes on deeper meaning. Possessing a rare coin is not just about control or profit, but about stewardship. Collectors become caretakers of small pieces of history, preserving them for future study and appreciation. A notable 2019 cent error held today may one day reside in a major collection or museum, contributing to a broader understanding of modern minting practices. This sense of continuity adds gravity to even the smallest coin. Cultural memory plays a subtle role as well. Coins often outlast the eras that produced them, becoming touchstones for future generations. The 2019 penny, viewed decades from now, may evoke memories of a specific period defined by rapid technological change and shifting economic norms. Errors from this time could be studied as artifacts of industrial processes under strain, offering insights that extend beyond numismatics into social and technological history. The idea of legacy circles back once more. Each person who examines a 2019 cent leaves an invisible mark on its story, whether by discovering an error, sharing knowledge, or simply choosing to look more closely. These individual acts accumulate, shaping collective understanding and appreciation. Over time, the penny's narrative becomes richer and more complex. Woven from countless moments of curiosity and care, as the search continues, the line between expectation and surprise remains thin. Most coins will always be ordinary, yet the possibility of the extraordinary never fully disappears. This balance sustains interest without guaranteeing reward, making each examination an act of hope tempered by reason. The 2019 penny thrives in this space, offering just enough mystery to keep people engaged. In the end, the true significance of the 2019 1-cent coin is not confined to any single error or valuation. It lies in the journey it invites, a journey of learning, patience, and attention. It teaches that value is discovered, not assumed, and that even the smallest objects can open doors to deeper understanding when approached with curiosity and care. And as long as people continue to pause, look closely, and ask questions, the story of the 2019 penny will never truly end. It will continue to circulate not only through hands and pockets, but through conversations, collections, and the quiet moments when someone decides that even a single cent is worth a closer look. As the story finally reaches its closing, the 2019 1-cent coin stands revealed not just as currency, but as an idea that challenges assumptions about worth, importance, and attention. After everything that has been explored, from minting processes and errors to market psychology and human curiosity, what remains most powerful is the realization that value is rarely obvious at first glance. The penny that so many dismiss without thought becomes, through knowledge and patience, a symbol of hidden potential and quiet significance. The journey through the 2019 cent teaches that rarity is not always ancient and that history is not confined to the distant past. Modern objects are still being shaped by mistakes, decisions, and circumstances that future generations will study and interpret. A single error frozen in metal can carry a story far larger than its size, linking machines, people, and moments in time. This understanding transforms the act of collecting from a search for profit into an exploration of meaning. What truly gives the 2019 penny its lasting power is not the exaggerated numbers sometimes attached to it, but the mindset it encourages. It asks people to slow down in a fast world, to observe instead of assuming, and to recognize that even the most familiar objects can hold complexity beneath the surface. This shift in perspective is valuable regardless of whether a rare coin is ever found, because it sharpens awareness and deepens appreciation for detail. For those who do discover something extraordinary, the reward is not just financial. It is the moment of recognition, the instant when confusion turns into understanding and the ordinary becomes exceptional. That moment cannot be bought or predicted. It can only be earned through attention and learning. The 2019 cent, circulating quietly among billions of others, holds the possibility of that moment for anyone willing to look closely enough. As time moves on, the coins of 2019 will gradually leave everyday use and enter collections, archives, and memories. Their context will change, their stories will evolve, and their significance will be reinterpreted. Some will remain common forever, while a few will stand out as remarkable examples of error, chance, and rarity. Together, they will form a record of a specific moment in modern history, preserved in metal. The lasting lesson of the 2019 1-cent coin is simple yet profound. Never underestimate the small, never ignore the familiar, and never assume that value must announce itself loudly. Sometimes it hides quietly, waiting for curiosity to uncover it. In a single cent, the entire philosophy of collecting is condensed. Attention creates opportunity. Knowledge creates value, and patience reveals what haste will always miss. And so the story closes not with a final answer, but with an invitation. An invitation to look again at what passes through your hands every day, to question what you think you know, and to remember that even the smallest coin can carry a story worth telling. That is the true legacy of the 2019 1-cent coin, not just as money, but as a reminder that discovery begins where attention begins, and that sometimes the greatest value lies in simply taking a closer look.